Chip lovers, be warned. Your favorite snack might be hard to come by because of a shortage of potatoes in the country. And Pepsi-Co, the owners of your favorites Lays and Simba chips, have been struggling to keep up with demand. Now, the potato industry has faced a number of challenges this year, including frost damage and heavy rainfall. Jano Bezuidenhout of Potatoes South Africa joins me now to discuss this conundrum. Jano, many thanks for your time this afternoon. Talk us through some of the major reasons for the shortage in potatoes that we're seeing.
Yes, so as you already mentioned, we had bad weather or weather conditions that wasn't optimal for production of potatoes. But just a little bit of clarification and background of the potato industry. The processing sectors and the fresh produce potatoes is two different supply chains. So it does not necessarily mean if there's a shortage in the processing supply chain that there's a shortage in the national fresh produce potatoes, which is sold for fresh consumption. So currently we are experiencing a shortage in the processing side, as Pepsi-Co mentioned. But on the fresh produce or the fresh potatoes supply chain or supply chain, we've got there's enough potatoes. We've got about 1 million bags per day on the fresh produce markets that's up for sale.
And I was about to ask that it would come at a bad time because it is a season of high demand for potatoes, isn't it?
Yes, so with the festive season in full swing, it is a high demand for potatoes, but as I mentioned, there is fresh potatoes for the consumers. So it does not mean that all potato products is in shortage currently in the market, and which another thing is the prices is reasonable currently on the fresh side. So it's really a good time for fresh potatoes to buy that as well.
Right. The problem that is currently existing, Jano, how long is that set to persist?
From Potato South African side, or the processing industry will be able to spread a little bit more light on this, since they contract their farmers directly to plant according to their needs. So they will be able to answer the question more in depth.
Right. Before I let you go, Jano, you have spoken about the price of potatoes. We have previously reported that they have increased quite a bit over the last few periods. In general sense, how much can a consumer look to buy a bag of potatoes for currently? Just a general scope so that we have an understanding.
Yeah, on the consumer side, we don't collect that data as we get it from Stats SA. But on the fresh produce side, which is the farmers, how can I say, where the farmers sell their prices, which we record currently, it differs. So the weekly prices fluctuated, and as you mentioned, we saw record prices in the end of September, but that price decreased within 7 weeks till the lowest price for this year. And currently, the last 3 weeks, we experienced the average prices to be lower for this time of year comparison to the last 4 years. So it's difficult to say specifically what a consumer will pay, because it depends on what that a retailer buys their potatoes for on the fresh produce market or at their farmers that they contract the price for.
Right, and then just a final thought from you, Jano. Are there any potato imports that we rely on generally, or do we produce all the potatoes that are consumed in South Africa?
We do have French fries that gets imported, but most of our potato products and stuff we produce locally. And just remember, with any import products, it's quite a lengthy process to import a product into South Africa, and as well on the potato side as well.